Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. Analogue has announced a brand new system, the Duo. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, on October 12th, Analogue posted this cryptic tweet. It said announcement squared October 16th, 2020. A lot of people were trying to figure out what this announcement was. Now, one of the most popular guesses was that it was going to be a Nintendo 64. You can see the way Nintendo 64 is written here, very similar to the way announcement was written, with a little 2. But there were some people with a really keen eye, and they noticed that the writing and coloring was almost identical to the PC Engine Duo. And then, as promised, on October 16th, Analogue posted the tweet revealing the Analogue Duo, an all-in-one reimaging of perhaps the most underappreciated video game system of all time, compatible with nearly every NEC system and game format: TurboGrafx-16, PC Engine, SuperGrafx, TurboGrafx CD, PC Engine CD-ROM. And then on their website, they also state it will be compatible with Super Arcade CD-ROM. Like all of Analogue stuff, this is not an emulation system. It's not emulating the games, it's playing them via FPGA, which, to be honest, is probably the closest thing you can get to playing the games on actual hardware. And Analogue goes on to state that it is compatible with all game formats: Hue cards, turbo chips, and CD-ROM, plus the original hardware and accessories. The Duo also features three different ways to hook up your controller. First is via wired, and the other two ways are via Bluetooth and 2.4G. These are different. Bluetooth, you just put your controller into Bluetooth mode and pair it to the system. 2.4G is when you have that little USB dongle, and then your controller talks to the dongle. Now, looking at the technical specifications, usually one of the places I really like to look first. It will be region free, which is awesome. It will also be HDMI via 1080p, or if you want to switch it to 720 or 480p, I don't know why you would, but the option is there. You can also have scan lines if you want those. And there are two other things I want to highlight here in the technical specs. This will be powered via micro USB, which is a very interesting design choice. I figured nowadays it might be USB-C, but that's really, I don't want to say disappointing because it's really just for power, but at the same time, USB-C would have been nice. And there's also an SD card slot, which is a huge plus, and it says right here in special features, SD card firmware updating. And why that statement is important: the SD card firmware updating is because of this statement right here. Analogue Duo does not play copyrighted ROM files, it plays legacy game cartridges and CDs. So if you have ROM files, you cannot play them on the Analogue Duo. But this system does have the potential to update the firmware and jailbreak the system in order to enable it to play ROMs, and that is not confirmed. That is not denied, it's just stating that stock, this will not support ROMs. So it will be an aftermarket touch per se, which you can pretty much do on almost all Analogue systems anyway. If you are familiar with Analogue systems, you would know that they are not cheap, and this one here is no exception. It will be priced at $199 and it will be coming in 2021. So now you might ask, is $199 worth it? And this is where I would say yes and no. First and foremost, if you are a collector and you already have NEC games, then it might make sense to pick this device up to play them on a modern TV, especially if you don't want to be using your older hardware, considering they are getting harder to find and games are not very cheap at all. If you wanted to buy an actual PC Engine Duo, it will set you back quite a bit of change. If you wanted to buy an old SuperGrafx, it would definitely set you back a few bucks. Even the box alone is $130. And if you're not batting an eye at those prices, maybe check out the price of a TurboGrafx CD add-on. And I mean, yes, you can find things for cheaper, you can find deals here and there, and you can region mod systems as well. Now, getting back to the $199 price for this, I think it's absolutely worth it for those collectors and people wanting to play on close to as original hardware as possible. It's very different from previous offerings. For example, the Super NT, which was based off the Super Nintendo, it was also very pricey, and you can just pick up a Super Nintendo very easily for under 50 bucks in some cases. And now for people who just want to emulate games, I don't recommend the Analogue Duo. I think it's a very pricey way to play games if you're just planning on emulating them, especially if you don't care too much about overall accuracy. There's other options out there, like RetroPie on the Raspberry Pi, for example, or even simply using RetroArch on your PC or on an Android device, considering TurboGrafx and the entire ecosystem of TurboGrafx are not hard games to emulate. To be fair, emulation is considerably cheaper and also, in my opinion, an awesome way to go. I really think this Analogue Duo is for those collectors or people who want to play on as close to actual hardware as possible. And lastly, joking, not joking, I don't recommend getting one of these if you actually plan on purchasing them and get your hopes up. Analog releases in the past have been a massive kerfuffle. They have not gone smoothly. A lot of people wanting to get them have not been able to get their previous systems. Quantities are very limited, pre-orders go fast, and if you do sign up here, you will be probably notified too late. By the time you're notified, they'll have already been sold out. I mean, it's kind of a running joke right now with pretty much all of Analog's stuff. But anyways, that is all I've got for today. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are about the Analogue Duo. I actually think this is a really cool offering, and I think it's definitely worth it for those people who are NEC fans, who are collectors, and who want to play on something close to actual hardware. The price point here makes a lot of sense, considering the actual consoles that these are based off of are very expensive. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Thank you everyone, take care.